What's going down, sir?
I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, he's the Persian. I think you know at this point. I'm the cowboy, if you couldn't tell. But right now, we're just going to let it free ball and see where the conversation takes us. And so we're going to start out with, I think, what's up the Persian's craw right now, right?
Yeah, what's up with the Persian's craw? Let me say it's actually also the Cowboy's craw because he's got some things to say too. But let me just start off by this.
The CC.
I literally went to Starbucks a couple weeks ago, and this has happened maybe 2 or 3 times now. Look, I'm all about service animals. If people have an emotional support animal like a dog or a cat or a rabbit, I get it. That's totally fine. Everybody's got their prerogative, and they should have that. I'm totally a supporter. But when you go to a Starbucks or a restaurant or an establishment and you bring a fucking snake and you have it wrapped around your body or a fucking lizard, like an iguana or like something.
What if it's my emotional support lizard, though?
I don't give a fuck what it is because it's literally like slithering all over the place. It's disgusting. The fucking snake has got its tongue sticking out. It's nasty. You lose your appetite. They need to put a ban on this before somebody gets bitten by one of these fucking animals, dude. It's disgusting and it's an outrage. People want to go to Starbucks and get their coffee. They want to get their pastry or their sausage sandwich. They don't want to go there and be looked at by a fucking reptile that's like this long. This snake was huge. I was completely enraged. I was upset. I left the establishment. I had to leave. It was absolutely disgusting. I don't even know what to say. I was so infuriated. I'm not a big snake guy. I'll be honest. I'm not a big snake guy. I don't like snakes. I don't like reptiles. And if you have one, that's okay. Just don't bring it out in the public. This is why there's too much democracy. There's too much shit going down, dude. There's got to be some rules here.
Well, of course, there always have to be some type of rules. But so you're saying that you're not for reptile rights?
I don't give a fuck about reptile rights, dude. What I do care about is that if I'm going to an establishment, I don't want a giant, like, boa constrictor, whatever the fuck it was, just slithering away with its tongue and looking at me and, like, about to wrap this dude's neck. Well, I'm just trying to go there very positively and getting a macchiato or a latte or a coffee cake. I don't want to have to leave and then have to come back again because I have a phobia of snakes and lizards. It's very disgusting, dude. I don't know what you think about this, cowboy, but do you appreciate that when you're in line at an establishment?
I mean, I've never seen a snake at a Starbucks, though. And honestly, I think that'd be kind of cool if they had little snakes to just play with while we're waiting for our damn coffees to arrive. But, side tangent, though, I have never had a cup of coffee in my entire life. And I think it's extremely scary to see everyone else's addiction looking at from the outside in on this. You guys all look like drug addicts. You wake up just like, and then you take this magical potion in the morning and boom, all of a sudden you're ready to go.
Well, caffeine's a hell of a drug, cowboy. It's a hell of a drug and it's much needed.
It's scary as hell.
It's needed. That's why I've cut down on caffeine significantly. I understand that. I drink the Diet Cokes, the Diet Pepsis. There may be some caffeine, but I used to drink vodka Red Bulls
How dare you
on a Friday and
that
Saturday.
Pepsi right there.
Look.
And call it a Coca-Cola.
A Coca-Cola. Okay, here we go.
Jeez.
But,
Poor Pepsi.
I'm getting so sick and tired of this. I've seen the reptiles and I went to a restaurant in San Jose. It was a fast food joint. The dude brought his snake with him. Put the fucking thing in the vehicle, dude. I'm tired of seeing this shit. Or put the thing away in your house. Why do you need to bring it outside with you, dude? It could attack somebody. It could get loose and go away, and then you're going to be devastated. Why take the risk? It's a liability, dude. Please stop. Say no to reptiles in restaurants, okay? Call your congressman now. I don't want to see this shit anymore, dude.
Well, you know what happened in Florida. That's how all the pythons got out of there.
Exactly.
Now they got python and a huge snake problem going down in Florida.
This is why exotic pet. I don't believe in exotic pets. If somebody has a pet that they need to release in the wild, then that's a problem. It should be in a zoo or in a preserve. It shouldn't be in the wild. Like Florida with the alligators. I mean, that's a native situation. But this python, the Burmese python snake, that's scary. Like, look, I don't like reptiles.
Could you imagine if it made it over to Louisiana?
It probably has. It probably has. Yeah, and I don't want to see that in California. Please put a ban on exotic pets. Here's another one. What is happening to America? Our infrastructure is literally crumbling. We are starting to become like Afghanistan. Our bridges are crumbling. Our dams are cracking. Our schools literally look like shanty towns. Our freeways and overpasses are filled with fucking homeless people, left and right, people from different ages. And then everybody, all the politicians.
What's a shanty town?
A horrible town. All the Democrats and Republicans literally saying, oh, these people are a part of the community. We have to care for them. No. If I'm a taxpayer, which I am, and I'm paying for a multi-million-dollar house in California, I want my streets to be immaculate. I want there to be perfection, pristine. I want to eat maple warm and ice cream off the sidewalk. I don't want there to be gum. I don't want there to be feces and piss from homeless people. This is a problem. I get it. These people have mental health problems, addiction problems. I get it. But at a certain point, you need to get these people and put them in some sort of land, rehabilitate them, and get them the help they need and get them back on their feet, okay? They just can't be living like this in the middle of the street on people's properties. I mean, you have people passed out in San Jose with a fucking heroin needle in their arm on somebody's house. You think I appreciate that as a taxpayer? I pay many taxes here. This man pays many taxes. What is happening to the Bay Area? It was already starting to become a dump. It has become a shithole. Look at San Francisco. They might as well make San Francisco into a fucking insane asylum at this point and just build a wall around the city so these people can't get out. It's disgusting.
I think that's a wall that everyone can get behind actually building right there, right? Just encompassing all of San Francisco, build a giant wall around
San Francisco has a lot of potential to be a beautiful city with its landscapes and its figures and everything, but the homeless crisis was a crisis and now it's an apocalyptic situation. You have people fucked up on the street. You have kids walking over homeless people to get to school. If you're a politician, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, why would you want your streets to look like this? It is disgusting. You have to have an authoritarian type policy towards homeless. They should make homelessness a federal crime. They should make it into a felony and move these people onto a piece of land, away from the people, rehabilitate them, get their confidence back, and to give them jobs that other people will not do, and then put them back into society.
Well, if that's what Venezuela did, right? They made it illegal for a doctor to report on the cause of death being that they starved to death. So that's how they fixed starvation in Venezuela, right? So the same thing. If we just outlaw homelessness, then boom, it'll be gone, right?
Well, I mean, there's a multifaceted approach, but Cowboy, you have to be honest, I'm tired of saying this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's become a problem. You have people, the homeless situation now, you have homeless people chilling in a park where kids are trying to go on a swing, but there's a fucking needle. So that instead of playing hopscotch, they have to play hopscotch over the fucking needle, basically. This is disgusting. And the narrative behind this, it's a Democrat and Republican problem. However, you look at all the cities in America that are crumbling and look like shanty towns and look like hell. They're all Democrat-run cities. You look at Oakland. You look at San Jose. You look at San Francisco, Los Angeles, Philadelphia. I mean, New York is starting to crumble now, too. I mean, this is out of control. This is out of control. I miss the day where America had a penis, a large 12 to 15-inch penis that was girthy and that was big. This was America's penis for a long time. You see this fucking elbow to hand? That was America's penis right there. Now,
his microphone's compensating.
This is America's penis now. A little pinky dick, okay? Not even Viagra or Cialis can get this dick back up, okay? I want to see America get back to America, to becoming the leader in everything, to become the leader of technology, to be the leader of society, to be number one. We are not number one, folks, anymore. Our empire is crumbling from within, and this is the beginning of the end until we wake the fuck up. Cowboy, your thoughts?
My thoughts. Okay, what do we unwrap right there? So your authoritarianism is something that I'm always going to disagree with. We can't just
look. I don't want to make America a dictatorship, but we got to get tough on many things, dude.
Yeah,
it's out of control.
I think it starts with enforcing the laws that are already on the books. You know, it's like if you're homeless, you're homeless. You know, you can't do much about that. I don't know if it's financial trouble, if it's addiction.
It's multiple facets. It's horrible.
Yeah. So I think one, we need to attack it from the drug aspect of it, and two, then enforce the laws that are already on the books, right? The littering is insane. I don't understand how no one's getting arrested or ticketed or whatnot for the littering that's going on.
Should be a
right there.
$10,000 fine. You want my
If you're
opinion?
homeless, that's one thing, but you can't just leave everything all over the dang
Dude.
place. That doesn't make any sense. And then two, from the drug aspect of it, right? So when you're battling addiction, you generally have someone that is enabling the problem that you have going on
Right.
with you. And so at a certain point, the best thing to do for someone that you love that is struggling with addiction is you need to cut them off financially, you need to cut off your support for them, and you need to
Yes.
send them out to fend for themselves. That's what has to happen. And that's how a lot of people end up on the street that are
Yep.
going through drug and alcohol and addiction problems. But now the California government has stepped in place and is now helping enable this this problem
Oh.
by allowing it to happen. It's this manufactured in California, right?
No,
here,
it's
this
made
pen.
in China. That's made in China. That's why it fell apart. You buy anything from China, it's going to fall apart. But Cowboy, to your point, the homelessness crisis needs to be addressed, and you can't just say they're part of the community. I'm not saying you, but people in general. There needs to be a plan.
Homeless people used to be a part of the community. You know, we used to have the town homeless guy that was his thing. He just wanted to be a homeless. He wanted to be alone. He was relatively clean. He didn't litter all over the place. He wasn't doing drugs in front of children, like on the main street. He wasn't pooping in public and peeing on all our
Just say he
buildings,
wasn't
you
taking
know?
a shit.
Yeah, you know what? We'll keep it family friendly for my
I'm not
followers. You know,
Yeah, we're going to do that. But let me say
the Lord
this.
is watching some. You know,
The Lord, I love the Lord, and the Lord is already going to send me to hell when I die. So I already know. I'm already getting around. I'm just going to take my sunblock with me because I know it's going to be very hot for me. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, number one, with the homeless situation, I've said this before. We got to rehabilitate these people. They can't make choices for themselves. When you live on the street, you have failed, and you can no longer make decisions for yourself. But you can rehabilitate your life, you can rebuild, and you can become a member of society again. Okay?
Well, that let me get into that right
Yeah.
there. So, I strongly disagree with the aspect that you at a certain point lose the right to make decisions for your own life. You know, you are the one that needs to choose. You are the one that needs to decide what is best for you. It's a small step between like, hey, you're living out on the streets and we need to take over and lose your freedom and like help you with this. Between like that and extending it to other areas of life as well, too. You know, that's something that comes up with the vaccines. Should people be forced to take the
Oh, I'm
vaccines
going to hit that up too.
for their own good, or should
Yeah.
they not? You know, it's a stretch. I think that's a decision that should be made with the individual, and I think they should consult their doctor about what is best for them in their personal situations. With taking all medications, you know, that's I'm very very adamant about supporting and talking to your doctors.
Absolutely.
But I don't think the government should make that decision for you. I don't think same thing with homelessness is, you know, it's clearly if they're choosing to live out there and they have other options available to them, why is living out on the streets a more appealing option than some other options that they have available? That is the question I think needs to be answered. And I don't know. I don't have that answer. So
Well, here's the deal. Number one, with homelessness, this is a situation throughout the country that has plagued the country. It's become an apocalyptic situation in any city, any small town. And the deal is it's a multi-complex issue. It's very, it's a societal problem, and it's one that may never be solved because people don't want to tackle it, meaning our politicians.
Well, I heard online once, and again, I'd love this to be fact checked with everyone viewing at home too, is what percentage of the homeless people that are out there in the skid rows and whatnot are addicted to drugs?
You have many. You have a big percentage. You have. See, this is the problem with homelessness. You have a mental health problem. You have people with mental health issues, whether it's schizophrenic, bipolar, they have depression, they have an issue. So that's one. Number two, you have the addiction, which also falls into mental health. These folks have drug issues. They're alcoholics. You know, they've gotten to the point.
Well, and in Europe, I heard that they stopped calling them homeless encampments and started calling them open drug markets. Because that was more of what they were dealing with right there. And again, I don't know what percentage of that is true in California or in America. So please give me the statistics on that. I would love to see it.
Cowboy, you're a good man. I like when you do that. I like it a lot. The other thing is too, you also have the cost of living has gone up. You have, especially in California and places like New York, cost of living, the rental costs, wages are not going up, and people that have very small families, or is like a 1 to 2 person family, the person is struggling. They don't have the assistance from the family to give them a boost, and then all of a sudden they're on the street and they can't get back. But in all of this situation, when you have all these struggles, number one, to me, I'm very passionate about mental health, and this needs to be fully invested in. We need money behind it. We need research behind it. We need a lot of things, resources for these people, from group help, therapy, better medications, better research toward medication. Do you know that with psychedelics, like mushrooms and some of the other psychedelics, people have been taking mushrooms or another psychedelic drug, and it's helped them with their depression? But because the pharmaceutical industry wants to push their pills for depression and whatever, they literally want to destroy that concept of research, whereas the mushroom that's grown in the ground, or something that's grown in the ground that is medicalized, can actually help with somebody's depression and boost their brain health very quickly, rather than 6 to 8 to 12 months with an antidepressant. And I take an antidepressant. I take 100 milligram of Zoloft. I'm totally open by saying that. And I love my medication because it brought me back to where I was. And it brought me back to a good place, but it took me a long time. But if there are better medications out there, better treatments, we need to put a lot of money behind it, because people are struggling. I'm an advocate for that. Number 2, Cowboy, with the drugs. The war on drugs has not done anything for this country. It's been destructive. It's killed many innocent civilians. Many of our law enforcement have died. It's created a situation on the border, southern border with Mexico. Now, what I would do with the situation with the war on drugs is that the party's over. Like the situation with the drugs, we have to legalize the drugs, and we need to tax it like a business and use that funds toward our infrastructure of this country, okay? And the other thing is, with that situation, is that we have to clinicalize the problem. If you want to do drugs, instead of doing it in the street or in your car or underneath the freeway overpass, wherever the fuck you do it, you got to go to a clinic and do the drug there, where it's regulated, where you know that it's an actual drug, where it's not cut with anything illegal or any substance. You do it there. But we have to stop the war on drugs. We have to make these drugs legal, because it is a ongoing problem, and the human will always have an affinity for drugs, gambling, prostitution. You might as well legalize it, tax it like a business, get money out of it, and rebuild the country with drug money. You can rebuild our schools, our dams, our bridges, our canals, our airports, every facet of infrastructure. You can create a wonderful train system in this country, the fastest in the world. You can have a legitimate system here, and you can start paying down some of your debts that this country has, the national debt, which we're going to get to next week on our next episode. But these are all things we can do. And then we can also take a punch at the cartel, or even be like, you know what? We've been fighting each other for 4 or 5 decades. Let's just hire you guys to make the drugs. We'll tax it like a business, pay you guys, and tax it back when we sell it to people in America. Like, we need to get some money. Colorado, Cowboy, has so much money with marijuana. By the way, where's California legalized marijuana, correct?
Yes.
Where the fuck is the money for marijuana? Colorado has so much.
Going to the homeless shelters that are
Colorado has so much money from the marijuana, law of making it legal. They have so much money, and they have a huge budget surplus. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with all this money. Where the fuck's California's money? I mean, Gavin Newsom, our failed governor here in California, instead of building California's infrastructure, instead of repairing the roads with the budget surplus we had, the motherfucker literally was writing people handouts for COVID relief 2 years after COVID, just to buy votes. I mean, I went to this guy's house today. I don't know how many potholes I ran into San Jose. There's a lot of potholes to be fixed. Our roads need paving. Legalize the drugs. Tax it like a business, 40, 50%. Get the money out of that annually and start fixing our infrastructure. We need the money. We need to do it now.
Okay, lot said right there.
Sorry, I got a little excited. I
No,
apologize.
it's okay. I got notes. We can back up to some of your good points. You were on a roll right there, so I don't want to interrupt and
No,
get you
thank
from
you,
there.
cowboy.
The points I like that you said right there. The one about mushrooms and LSD and those hallucinogenic drugs actually helping with addiction and those kinds of things. And I think that is a really good point and something I found quite interesting. DMT and the ayahuasca that Aaron Rodgers.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, baby. But yeah, I heard something like if you have an addiction and you go do ayahuasca and do that spiritual meditation process that goes through with it, that most people with addictions come back and they are reset in their ways and their
It
values.
resets your brain and everything.
Yeah, and so it was described to me once as the brain functions as a snow-covered hill, right? When you're a baby,
Complex.
when you're a baby, fresh brain, whatever, it's just a nice snow cover, thick powder, and then every time you have a thought is like you just cut some tracks down, you sled down the hill, and you make a little groove in the brain, let's say. And as you continue to have that same thought over and over again, or hear something from someone else, like your parents calling you an idiot and you're worthless and you'll never amount to anything, that gets carved deeper and deeper and deeper. Same thing with like,
Good point, cowboy.
I'm a waste of space, I'm a waste of everything. Let me drink. I feel bad. Let me drink. Compensating. Now I feel bad, and automatically goes to drinking, carving that even deeper and deeper into your psyche. And so, what I've heard that ayahuasca and those harder drugs, of course, consult your doctor before ever doing any type of drugs or alcohol. Drugs are very dangerous, and I am not advocating.
We're
them.
not advocating
Please
for
consult
that.
your doctor.
Consult with the doctor, okay?
Yes, and seek help for addiction and every other problem that's going on
Depression,
in your
everything.
life.
Please get help.
Speak up. Talk to your friends, talk to your doctors, talk to your loved
And
ones.
check in with your loved ones and friends, okay?
Absolutely.
Don't be silent.
So, but I heard that when you do these hallucinogenics, the DMT, ayahuasca, it's like they take your brain and they put another fresh coat of powder back on top of the hill.
Just ask Aaron Rodgers, dude. Look at him.
I know, yeah.
He's totally zen.
He forgot all the damn plays to a playbook. And so
know.
now he's like, oh, that's the guy, so it took him forever to figure it back out. So I liked that point. I thought that was interesting as well. The other one you said was one of my favorite conspiracy theories, though, is that, the big pharmas are pushing all these pills that we have.
Money, baby.
But they're the new drugs that they've made, and they want us to keep taking them. We used to have other ones that were herbal supplements and those kinds of things, natural remedies that we were taking. But you can't patent those. You can't sell those for good profits. So Big Pharma came in and created all of these drugs for us, and drugs became the answer. So now if anything's wrong with you, you're going to get a drug to fix it. There's no more research into preventative. Well, there is research, but not as much into preventative maintenance, things you could be doing, things you could stop doing.
Yeah.
That can actually...
I'm an addict. I love Diet Pepsi. What can I tell you?
Oh, man. I know. It should be a Coca-Cola. You're right. But people need to realize that there's other options available for you too. And I don't think it's in Big Pharma's interest to point those out, that herbal and everything like that, because they want to keep us sick, because then we have to keep buying the drugs. They don't want us to get better, because then we will not buy their drugs anymore.
Exactly. And the pharmaceutical business, and this is the whole cross segment. There's a lot to discuss about this. The pharmaceutical business, it's a money business. Okay, they want to make money. They don't give a fuck about people and making people feel better. They're just trying to sell their drugs so that people can continuously buy them. You look at COVID, for instance. The pharmaceutical business were lining at the door for this vaccine from day one. Okay, you had Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, J&J. They all made their drugs. I don't know what the difference is, but some needed 2 shots to be better, 1 shot for Johnson & Johnson. Then some of the drugs had this problem, that problem. Look, I'm not condoning anything. We needed the vaccine, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, these companies all profited during the whole COVID situation, during the pandemic. They made a fortune off these drugs, okay? And the thing is, the pharmaceutical industry is literally pushing their products, their medicines and everything, whereas they're probably much easier remedies and there's probably easier things that can be done to make us feel better with various diseases and viruses and things like that. But we don't know because they've done their research and they're hiding the research so that they can push their agenda and their drug on the market to make money. It's all about money and making more and more and more and more of it. Nothing is ever enough for these companies. That's why the pharmaceutical industry should also be taxed heavy. They should also be taxed 50, 60% because they're making profits. There should be no excuse for somebody who's diabetic that goes and needs to get diabetic medication to pay $1,000 out of pocket for that. That's no excuse. No drug should be worth $1,000. That's insane. That's insanity.
Yeah, it's a tricky business right there because they also do make medical breakthroughs that do help us out in the future too. And we need the competition to be there to strive for it. So are the drug companies too big? Are they having too much power? Are they in cahoots with the food and beverage industries to keep us unhealthy?
Oh, yeah.
That's a question to ask. The favorite one I heard recently is that the United States government subsidizes the corn industry. So we pay farmers to plant corn, and that is why corn products are so much cheaper than other products. And what is in all this stuff right here?
Corn.
High fructose corn
syrup, our favorite thing.
It's delicious.
You just hit it on the button. And can I say something about the food and pharma industry?
Of course.
I'm going to say this. The pharmaceutical industry and the food industry, it's no secret. Every fucking person knows this. If not, then you're a moron. You're literally in bed together. They are in bed together. They have a deal with each other. The food industry is literally pumping our animals with steroids and toxins and antibiotics to make them fatter, to make them out of control, to literally make their bodies bigger so they can have more meat when they get sold and slaughtered, whatever. And in turn, 20, 30 years later, when people get diagnosed with various cancers or diseases, then we have to get medications from the pharmaceutical industry. So this is all a cycle. This is all a game, and they're in bed together. I mean, Cowboy, listen to this. I know you're looking at the ingredients there on that Diet Pepsi, but let me tell you this. I'm a lactose person, okay? I can't handle regular dairy because I have to run to the bathroom like there's no tomorrow. If I literally had milk on this show and I literally went to your bathroom, I couldn't make it. I would shit all over your floor, okay? Number one. Number two is that I went to Italy back in 2017 with my beautiful wife. I went to Italy. We had a great trip. Highly recommend Italy to everybody. And I had dairy in Italy. I had no reaction when I was there. No reaction. I had all sorts of cheeses, all sorts of dairy.
I was just going to ask you, did you try a like unpasteurized milk? And because like it's all
I
the
drank
process
it.
that goes right there. And is it the A2 full fat like grass fed milks?
It was whatever they were literally milking the nipple of that cow and putting it, in the bottle and selling it to the market. I was drinking it. I had no fucking problem. But when I came back to America about a weekend from eating American food, I was literally shitting all over the place. I had a stomach ache. I literally had like the worst fucking problem. And I'm a person.
Did you lose weight in Italy?
I mean, I walked a lot because in Europe you walk a lot.
Yeah.
Take a lot of training. So I lost a good amount of weight. I mean, good amount. I would say like maybe 5 to 7 pounds. But I ate a lot.
Yeah,
but that was because I was on vacation.
But you were only there for a couple weeks though, right?
Yeah. So I went to Italy. I went to Greece. In Greece,
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, 5 pounds in 2 weeks is
pretty
incredible.
good because we walked a lot. I mean, it was beautiful. I had a great time. I like Europe. I mean, I don't like some of their policies, but they're good people. Good people.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is, Cowboy, there has been so much deregulation right now with the food industry and pharmaceutical. They're out of control. They're too big.
Yeah.
They've become bigger than the government, and they have bought the government, the lobby. The lobbyists have bought the politicians, and it's gotten out of control.
Yeah, so let me read this list real quick. So this is Diet Pepsi, the classic Diet Pepsi taste. Interesting. So 0 calories, that's nice to see. Sodium, 25 milligrams.
Why do you think I drink it? 0 calories.
Total sugar is 0. That's fine. So the first ingredient is water. That's encouraging. Carbonated water. Nice. Second one is caramel color. I don't know what the hell that is.
That can't be good.
It's what gives you the flavor or the color of the thing. Then aspartame, phosphatic acid, potassium benzoate, Preservative freshness. Okay, so I guess that's the preservative for the freshness of it. Then caffeine, so that's going to help give it that addictive quality to it. Citric acid, natural flavors, and then accessil fame potassium.
There's a lot of shit in there.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like if you see something on the back of a label that you cannot pronounce and you don't know what the hell it is, it's
Don't
probably
drink
not
it.
food. Yeah, you should not touch it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna have to start my New Year's resolution in February and start cutting down on this shit.
yeah, if this is the one of the best diet advices I could give you is if you don't know what the word on the back means, do not eat it. Do not
Don't
consume
eat it. Don't drink it. Don't inhale it. Don't do anything with it.
Yeah, exactly. And then a lot of the times too, it's like this is advertised as the diet soda, but one of the problems with this is obesity rates correlate higher with diet beverages than they do with just normal sodas as well. So I don't know.
And that's the thing, Cowboy. We look at our children too. I mean, we went to the same schools. I mean, there was a time in middle school where we had soda machines in the school and the most unhealthy food, and then they took it away and put some healthier versions. But the food in this country, I love the food in America. I love junk food. I like all kinds of food, cuisines, everything. But our food here is tainted. They make our animals bigger, fatter, so they can sell more meat in the market after, when they slaughter them. And these companies, God knows what they're putting into these animals that are making them mutated and huge and whatever the fuck. But we're putting that shit into our body, and you do this over and over and over and over again for 20, 30 years, eventually it leads to disease. You get cancers. You have, different autoimmune deficiencies. Like, God knows. I mean,
so the thing with diet is it's all about if you want to lose weight or lose fat, it's about how many calories you're taking in and how many calories
you're
burning out, right? And so the easiest one of those to adjust is your calorie intake. It's difficult to adjust your calorie output. I mean, you can exercise and go everything like that, but then your metabolism is also fixed in there. So a lot of these chemicals right here, they end up messing with your hormone levels.
They do.
Yeah, and that's what kills your metabolism. And if your metabolism is shit, then you're just not going to be able to burn the energy the way you normally would be able to burn the energy. So your workouts aren't going to be as efficient as they would have been in the past. So it's a interesting dilemma right there. So it's that, and then the type of foods that we're eating as well. Yeah. Some are more satiating than others. That is never going to quench your thirst. You're just going to keep being thirsty.
Yeah, you're going to keep being thirsty. That's the whole point. They want to keep quenching your thirst, so you drink and drink and drink and drink.
Exactly. And then same thing with sugar. They put sugar in everything to make it more addictive. I found sugar in a Alfredo sauce that I was trying to buy once, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" It looked like the bottle made it look like the classic Italian Alfredo sauce, and I saw sugar was like one of the third or fourth ingredients.
I can't believe that. It's horrible.
Like, why the hell is this in there? Tomato sauces too. You don't need sugar in tomato sauce, but they put it in all.
They put it in everything.
Sauces.
They put sugars in everything. It's everywhere.
To make it more addictive, so we eat more of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy. But if you eat a steak. If you eat a 16-ounce steak, you're going to be stuffed by the end of that. But you haven't eaten that many calories in proportion to,
all the other shit.
If you were trying to eat a lasagna or something like that. Yeah.
And that's where it is, Cowboy. I mean, we talk about this, and because of the negligence and the agenda of the food industry and the farm industry, I mean, you look at the disease, I think probably, and don't quote me on this, but I think 75 to 85% of our diseases are all man-made. These are all, I mean, it's literally environmental, man-made. It's the shit that we put into our bodies, the shit we come in contact with. And there's also genetics too. I'm not I'm not going to call that out, but there's a lot of shit going on here.
It's stress is...
It's a big factor.
One of the number one contributors to disease. And if we don't manage that, then of course we're going to lead to everything else that comes along with it.
I mean, it's going to break down our bodies.
It's kind of hard to see like if we're sicker than we have been in the past, because in the past we didn't have the same ability to diagnose what someone died of, no one dies of old age anymore. We just die of a disease now. But back in the day, they're just like, oh, they died. I don't know what from,
Now we know.
Yeah, so it's hard to say if we're having different diseases or more common. That'd be interesting research. Drop a link if someone has
Yeah,
data
please do.
on.
Drop a link.
I'd love to see a comparison of cause of death over time and like what the most common thing killing people has been. I mean, now it's all cardiovascular diseases, which are completely related
I mean,
to
the,
our obesity levels and our
and the human body is definitely something that we're continuously learning about, especially the brain. I mean, the brain is not. I mean, we know things, but we don't really know about our brain. I mean, that's a whole another topic. But on another note, that's also up my craw, is that I'm going to say something very controversial. Okay, any politician that's taking money from a foreign country that's lobbying to them. If a country is trying to lobby a politician and give them money for, their own agenda, for whatever they want to do, that is treason. That is treason, and that should not be allowed. And if you are caught getting money from China, you're getting money from Russia, you're getting money from Iranian lobbyist group like NIAC, or you're getting money from enemies of the United States, you as a politician should be thrown in jail for treason against your country and be placed under house arrest or be placed in an American military institution. That is a treasonous act to get money from overseas. You look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden has gotten money from China. He's gotten money from the Iranian lobbying group, NIAC, here in the United States, that has ties to the Iranian government, which to me is a terrorist government, the Iranian government. So this is a big problem. This is a big problem. You have politicians playing both sides. Are you an American politician or are you a foreign entity? Are you a double agent? That's a big problem.
Yeah, and I think that's something we should look into doing as a segment in our podcast is we pick a politician and then you and I break down where their funding comes from. Where does their income come into account? What family members of theirs are receiving or working for other companies that they may or may not be qualified for? I think it'd be really interesting to just start going through the list and breaking them down and saying, here's this senator, this is how they make their income, this is their biggest donor, and then, they always say, if you want to figure out where the corruption comes from, you better follow the money. So let's follow the money and see what we can find out.
Well, it's that too. And then the other thing I'm going to say, Cowboy, that's kind of, it's had me angry since 2019 to 2020 with the pandemic, is that China, the government of China, not the people of China, but the government of China murdered 7 million people around the world with COVID, which in my opinion is a militarized virus that was created in a man-made lab made by China. I don't believe a pangolin fucked a bat or a bat fucked a pangolin, or I don't know if it came from a pangolin or a bat, but
maybe they had a snake at their Starbucks and that's what happened.
I don't know about all that, but in the end, China hasn't paid a single price for COVID. They ruined the world's economy for 2.5 years. We're still recovering from the economic effects of COVID. We all suffered mentally. We all maybe knew somebody that suffered from COVID or lost a loved one to COVID. But in the end, China was not penalized correctly. There should have been tariffs on all Chinese goods. There should have been a cut from Chinese student visas, H-1B visas from China. There should have been a ban on travel from China. There should have been American companies, Cowboy. I'll say this, American companies who are doing business in China, there should have been a mandate by the federal government to force American companies to bring back the manufacturing jobs to America from China and to hurt China's pocketbook. There should have been a problem. And any goods coming from China that are manufactured there should come to America. And any company that doesn't want to do that, they will be severely taxed and penalized for doing business with China.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that was bungled in the very beginning of it all was when China realized they had the pandemic going on, they shut down all of their citizens from traveling and moving on and isolated them all in place. But they still allowed international travel, and the airport out of Wuhan kept flowing and letting all the foreign diplomats leave. And then boom, it spread everywhere after that. That's crazy.
They did it on purpose, Cowboy. They knew exactly what they're dealing with. They lied to the world about COVID. They lied to everybody about it. And in the end, we all paid the price. Many people lost their jobs. Many people couldn't pay their mortgages or rent, and we're still recovering from it. And let me tell you something. Many American generals from the previous administration and current administration are saying they're predicting a war with China, and that's going to be devastating. They have nukes, we have nukes. They have a nuclear button, but our button is bigger. And I will end there for today.
You'll end there for today. All right. Well, no, we'll get to some more of my rants later, I guess.
Give us a rant. I've been
All
talking
right.
all the time. Give us a fucking rant, dude.
Okay.
This poor guy's just sitting here. I just been blabbing my mouth. Give me a rant, dude.
Story of my life. I've been doing this since we were in 5th grade together. It's
Yes.
okay. All right. So my pet peeve. I gotta say, the devil beat Johnny in the fiddle contest.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about the devil went down the Georgia song. I'm sorry, the breakdown of that where the devil is playing the fiddle. He kicks Johnny's ass. You know, Johnny just plays the Granny's a dog bite, no child, no. Come on, that's a little weak thing right there. The devil with all his backing band going on, everything like that, way better fiddler than Johnny. I'm sorry, Johnny, you lost the fiddle contest. It's been bothering me for years. I'm out here publicly saying it while wearing a cowboy hat. Yep.
Johnny needs to go practice.
Yeah, he does. I'm sorry.
He needs to go practice. Cowboy, anything else on your mind before we conclude? What else is going on in your world?
The dollar sign should go at the end of the numbers like every other unit there is in existence. I don't understand why the dollar sign comes first and then the number, because we're saying, oh, I got $40. You don't say I got $40. Well, that's freaking ridiculous.
That doesn't make any sense. I agree with you. I agree
if
with
we're
you
talking
there.
about, oh, I got 10 gallons of gas,
Yeah.
you know, it's 10 gallons, and then the gallons comes at the end of it, at the units. But for some reason with dollars, we got the dollar unit in the front of it. We got to put the dollar sign there, then
Yeah.
write the number out.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is the point
$1.40.
of that?
$1.40. $40. It should be $40. The dollar sign should be at the end.
Yeah, if you say $1.40, I think
That doesn't
you're
make sense. You're saying
I say
$1.40.
That's what I hear you
Yeah,
saying.
I agree with you. Put
Yeah.
40, it's $40.
Yeah, exactly.
$100,000.
Doesn't make any sense why the freaking unit comes before the number.
Yeah.
Join all of other science and everything else that exists and put the dollar sign at the end like every other else. Anyways, but I think that's all I got going on my part, other than the weird caffeine thing everyone has going on. But yeah.
Yes, I'm the Persian. He's the cowboy. So long, folks. Stay safe. Have a tremendous weekend. And we're going to make America smart again. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks for hanging with us on this one.
What a
Cheers.
great guy. Tremendous guy. We're going to love it. We're going to do big things together. I'm going to go to Mar-a-Lago this weekend. I'm going to take Eagly with me. We're going to have a tremendous time.